looks like we got Shatika and Frida. How are you ladies doing this evening? I'm awesome, but I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've hand watered all my plants, or tried to. I did the rest of my laundry. I did a cooking video today, so I'm wore out, y'all. I am totally wore out. But I'm wore out in a good way. I feel good. Just tired. Good evening, Frida and Shatika. Welcome to my surprise Friday chat. How you ladies doing? And there's Dennis. It's Friday. Well, that's what they tell me. Yesterday was Thursday. We had trivia last night. But I've been working so hard all day today and finally sat down. And I said, I think I'm just going to go live. So I did. I never did get an email from Anthony. Oh, your grandkids went home for the weekend? They got to get ready this weekend, I guess, to go back to school next week. And there's Gladys. Hi, Gladys. How's Gladys doing this evening? I hope your headache's gone. Now, you said last night you had a headache. And there's Ann. Hey, Ann. My bones are just tired tonight. I've worked hard today. Yes, Gone with the Wind. Well, good. Stay gone with the wind. You don't need no headache. I am tired. I feel like I can just lay my head down and go to sleep. I mean, I didn't sleep good again last night. I probably slept 30 minutes all night. And then I worked out in the yard all day today. Plus, I finished up some laundry. And I did a cooking video today. There was 4 great big shrimp in there in that dinner. I thought there was coleslaw in there, but you know, I got there kind of late. They close at 9, and they may have been out of coleslaw. And at that time of night, they're not going to stop and make more. But I would have loved to have had a little bit of coleslaw with my fish dinner. I got 2 big pieces of cat fillet, catfish, and 4 shrimp, big ones. They could have kept the toast. I like the hush puppies. They give me hush puppies and toast both. You had nightmares of ghosts last night? Well, I've had Anthony on my mind a little bit today, wondering how he's doing with his ghost and everything. I've never had grits with my catfish and my French fries and shrimp before, but I like a little bit of coleslaw with it. And as much as I paid for that dinner, it should have had everything. With tax and everything, it was like $20, $21 for what you saw with a large Coke. Because I tell you, catfish dinners and stuff has gone up here in all these restaurants. Even in the fish markets where you buy fresh catfish, it's pretty expensive. I'd rather go catch my own, though, if I can. But I haven't caught any catfish in a long time. There's Anthony. Sorry, I can't stay long. I'm at work, but I'm okay. Guess how you're doing? I'm doing great. I'm just a little tired. So you haven't been back to your house yet, huh? You stayed at the motel all night. I had grits, eggs, and bacon for breakfast this morning, Dennis. I took a notion I had to have me some grits this morning, so I made me some grits and scrambled eggs and a couple of slices of bacon. No, I ain't going back either. I showed my coworkers a video. One of them told me to get a priest and an exorcism out here to have it removed, but I'm not doing any of that. Why not? You're done with the house, I guess. I love coleslaw with fish. Anytime I fry fish, um, anytime I have like barbecue sandwiches, pulled pork or anything like that. Sometimes when I have fried chicken, I like either coleslaw or potato salad. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want to be no words around it. I don't want nothing to do with the ghost can have it. I just rent it out. Rent it and advertise it as come rent the house and live with a ghost. Yeah, slaw. I always want coleslaw with pulled pork sandwiches. I love pulled pork with coleslaw. I even put coleslaw on the sandwich. But if I have fried chicken, I kind of favor potato salad. And if I have pork ribs, something like that, I kind of like potato salad. I was so tired doing my cooking video today, I was dropping things left and right. Y'all will laugh at me through the whole video when you see it tomorrow. What's she going to drop next? You could go for some good coleslaw right now. Yeah, I like good coleslaw. And I love good potato salad. I was out there and I put 2 more tie downs across the top of the greenhouse because the wind was blowing like crazy today. I'm glad I got my tree burnt yesterday because I could not have got it burnt today. The wind was blowing too hard. And I had still a big old log that was smoldering in the fire pit. I wanted to take some of those coals and put it on my plants, but I'm going to have to wait till I know the fire's gone completely out and there's no coals down in there that's hot. I made the mistake of the very next day, one time when I burnt something in the fire pit. I took me a bucket out there and was getting me some of the ash to put in my plants. And I was scooping up live coals. I mean, they were burning hot. They were still burning. I said, "Oh no, I can't do that. I'll kill my plants putting hot coals to them." Yeah, I got the entire tree burnt, Tamara. I kept some of the smaller logs for maybe sometime later on when I want to make a small fire and, just sit by the fire pit and chit chat. Maybe go live at the fire pit one night or something. I got a couple of small logs I can burn. And I kept some of them to kind of border the garden out there to, hold the wood chips in place. Because I'm not putting them in the whole yard. I'm just going to stop like where the watermelon's planted, right up even, almost even with the shed, like the other garden is over here. And border it with those logs so it holds the wood chips in place. Yeah, I got that entire tree burnt yesterday. I was really tired too when I come in and was done for the day. I'm glad I got it done. Now I don't have to worry with it. I don't have it to do. Yeah, that cedar mesquite, and since it was completely dead and dried, it burnt pretty fast. I mean, it took me most of the day to get it burnt because I was trying to burn a little bit at the time because I didn't want to spread a fire anywhere. But it burns really fast and it burns hot. A lot of people, if they have fireplaces or wood stoves in their house, they like to burn it, especially in the wintertime because it really puts out a lot of heat. Yeah, I've accomplished a lot this week and I'm deader than a doornail. I'm tired. I just want to lay down and go to sleep and sleep for days. But I was up most of the night last night. Night before I didn't sleep. You love snow? Well, snow's pretty too, Ann. Okay, Anthony, well, have a good night. We'll see you later on if you can get back in. Be safe. Don't let those ghosts come to your work with you. Yeah, I don't drive fast in snow or ice or rain. And I've seen other people zoom by me 75 and 80 miles an hour. When it's raining so hard you can't see a foot in front of the car, I'm not doing that. It scares me. All of a sudden you come up on something and there's somebody you're going to hit and you're doing 75 or 80 miles per hour. You're not going to stop. You're going to hit them. You can't stop that quick. Yeah, I know sometimes the job might require it. They had snow there, yeah. Well, it was almost 80 degrees here today. And I probably got more sunburn on my face getting out in the sun and carrying the bucket to water plants. And there's Father Gatto. Hello. How are you doing? It's not snowing in Chicago? Good. But got to go back soon. Got a 10:59. Okay, Anthony, be safe. And there's Janine Spurgeon. Hello. Cold and windy. Where she's at. Dennis says I got a farmer's tan. I guess. I don't know. Where my arms are white. Look at that. You can tell. Look how dark my arms are down here. Look up there where my sleeves cover. Look like two different people. I need to start wearing little spaghetti straps, I guess, so I can get my arms tanned up here. so it doesn't look so weird when I wear a sleeveless blouse and all of a sudden it's all white up here, you know. It was windy here today all day long, but it was like 80 degrees, so it was a beautiful sunshiny day. It's just been windy as all get out. And I said, well, I better put a couple of more tie downs across the top of that greenhouse to help hold it down. Yeah, I got stuff growing pretty good in it. I've got my zucchini, squash. Um, I've got turnips that have come up. I've got yellow beets, red beets that have come up. And what else did I say? Oh, I got a surprise potato that came up in my pepper garden. Go figure that. I've been debating whether I should just pull it out or not. You know, I planted pepper seed in that end of that raised bed. The pepper seed hasn't sprouted and come up yet because it takes a while for them to come up. But I've got a potato plant right in the dead center of that end of it popped up. I had to get some water to my celery today because it was kind of flopping over. I planted some onions alongside of it because onions are good companion plants for celery and stuff like that. It helps keep the bugs away from your celery. That's the only reason I planted them there. I really didn't need to plant onions there, but I did so, you know, it would help protect the celery. Well, my problem is, you know, I can't water just any time I want to water. We still have that water restriction here. I can only water with my garden hose 1 day a week. And the other times I have to water with my compost tea, the water that I've saved in the 32-gallon containers. That's what I watered out of today. Yeah, I've got cucumber plants that have come up where I've got that trellis in that one raised bed. It's got like net up it with the post at the end. I've got cucumbers coming up. That's what I put that trellis there for. I want my cucumber vines to grow up on it. And then I've got a pepper plant at one end of it. I don't remember what I planted at the other end. And I got marigolds planted there too. And I'm still waiting for my lavender to come up. It's not come up yet that I can tell. But I've got a squash that came up in that other raised bed. It's the only thing that I've seen pop up out of the ground since I've planted it. You know, I planted popcorn and peas. And I don't even remember putting a squash there, but I guess I did because it's come up. That's what I did, Janine. I've got 32-gallon trash cans, the black ones with lids that that clamp down. So on my watering day, I water my plants. I fill my containers up. That way, halfway through the week, I've got water in those containers that I can dip out and take around with a sprinkle can and water them again. So I get to water like 2 times a week that way. One with the water that I've saved in the containers, and then one day that I can, use the water hose to water everything. I mean, I used to have beautiful plants here, and a lot of them dried up and died out there in that big rock garden because of the lack of water. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 or 8 of the trash cans out there now that are 32 gallons. That's holding water for me to water my plants, to keep my garden alive. And there's Wilson. Hi, Wilson. Oh. I said, I can't do no more. I did my cooking video. I got my kitchen cleaned up. I said, I got to sit down, and I said, I think I'll go live. I said, I'm just going to sit here and rest and relax, and I felt like getting on here and chatting with everybody. I'm still planting seeds. I mean, I can't afford to buy plants. I plant seeds. Like I've just put eggplant seed out. You have an apartment, yeah, Gladys. Kind of hard to have a garden when you live in an apartment. And Janine doesn't have any outside water access. Oh, Wilson, what's wrong with you? Well, I'm not putting in any more plants or pots. I mean, not plants, but I'm not putting any more raised beds in. No more buckets or pots or totes to plant in. I've got enough. If I can take care of what I've got, I'm going to be doing good. The only way I'll put more in is if I'm replacing one. Like, I had to replace one in the garden out there because it cracked and broke apart. So I transferred all the soil to a new one and replanted in that. That's where I got my Casper white eggplant seed in. And there's Texas Repo. Hello. Yeah, my little banana tree is up about that tall again. If it doesn't come another freeze and kill the sprout. I mean, it was up higher than that. And then we had that last freeze, and the poor thing died down, and that's coming back up. Well, I do can if I have anything to can. Sometimes I've got enough green tomatoes or tomatoes I can make chow chow. One year I had so many cucumbers and zucchini and squash, I was making pickles out of all of it. And I was giving it away. I was cooking it, eating it, giving my son some of them, making pickles. It was the first year I made zucchini and squash pickles, but they were good. Yeah, and like last year, I had more peppers than anything, so I went ahead and made the cowboy candy and cowboy candy relish and pepper jelly and pepper jam. I only did about 6 pints of chow chow because I really didn't have any tomatoes. I made most of my chow chow this year with cabbage and green tomatoes. I mean, they usually make chow chow with cabbage anyway, but most of the time I put more tomatoes in there than I do the cabbage. The majority of mine is usually green tomatoes. Not yet. It takes a good while for them to finally come up. And the pepper's the same way. If you're planting pepper seed or tomato seed, don't get discouraged. It takes a while for them to come up. But when they start coming up, oh my God, you're going to have hundreds of plants if you do what I did. Your mom used to make bread and butter sliders too, so good. Well, well, I'm not telling you. It's my video tomorrow. I'm not telling you about it. You just have to wait and see. Yeah, it takes a while for the Roma tomatoes to come up and those peppers. So you just got to wait and give them time. But oh my God, like last year when I put all those pepper seed in that one little black pot, I'd almost given up. I said, well, they're not coming up. And then I went out there one day and I saw 2 little green sprouts popped up. And by the end of the week, a week later, I bet I had 100 little plants come up in that one little pot. That's why I had bell pepper and hot pepper all over the yard is because I had so many little plants. And I wished I could have got them out earlier. I think next year I'm going to start seeds in the greenhouse in December. So by the time March comes around, I'm going to have big healthy plants to put out in the yard, in the garden. Think I'll try fermentation on. I've never tried that, Janine. I know that's what a lot of these other countries do, like Vietnam. They're big on fermentation. They put a lot of their greens and stuff in their vegetables in like gallon jars and kind of ferment it. That's how they store it and keep it, preserve it. But I've never tried that. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I've done anything close to that is sauerkraut. Your old school hamburger meat. Well, in my video, I showed you how I cooked my supper tonight. I'm not going to tell you what it was. You'll have to watch the video. Oh, me too, Dennis. If I could get my vegetables to grow like the weeds do, I wouldn't have any problem. I had beautiful zucchini and squash one year and cucumbers. But then that Bermuda grass took over my garden. And I've not had any that good looking since. Hopefully this year will be better. I got my plants out early. They're already up about that tall. With my zucchini and squash. And I've got a couple in the greenhouse that are up pretty good size. And I need to get them out of the greenhouse and get them out somewhere. There you go, Dennis. There's just sometimes, Gladys, that you got to kick back, forget the world's out there, and just relax and have a good time just all by yourself. Just have peace and quiet and enjoy it. That's what I do some nights when I don't go live. It's, I've just reached the point by then that I'm tired. All I want to do is kick back, put my feet up, and forget everything and just have, just settle down. Iowa, it's the nighttime temps I was speaking of. Had bread soup for dinner. Huh. I have a sad tomato I wanted to do that with, but we will be below or close to freezing for the next 5 to 6 weeks. Have you got a sunny window, Tamara? And if you've got a small pot that'll hold enough soil that you can slice that tomato and put a couple of slices just under the dirt in that pot and put it close to a window where sun will hit it. You can start them indoors. Yeah, I just noticed yesterday, the first day of spring. But yeah, if you got room for one little pot and you got a window that you can get it to the sun, you can start your tomatoes, just slice off a piece of that tomato and put it just barely under the dirt. Keep the dirt damp a little bit. Put it in a sunny spot and just wait. Probably by the time the weather fares up and you can plant it outside, you'll have a bunch of tomato plants in that little pot. I've noticed I've got some volunteer tomato plants coming up in my totes, out there that my little grape and cherry tomatoes were in last year. Usually I always drop one or two little tomatoes in the tote, and the next year I'll have volunteer tomato plants coming up from it. And they usually do pretty good when they come up voluntarily. They want to live or they wouldn't bother to fight to come up. Oh, I'm sorry. I know it'll be 100 degrees before long, and I'm going to have to be getting my shade cloth back up to help cover some of my plants. You could put a 2-liter bottle over the pot, or even a bigger one, as long as you can, it's kind of like a 2-liter bottle, clear one that you could cut the bottom off, and then put your slice of tomato in there, cover it with dirt, keep your soil wet, turn that bottle upside down over the top of it, push it down a little bit so it won't fall over to the side. That might keep the little kitties from bothering it. And it acts as a little greenhouse. Those tomato plants will sprout from that slice of tomato in that bottle, in that little miniature greenhouse for you. My house, I don't have access to my windows, not to where I can put a table or a counter or anything to where I can put a pot on to get them in the window to start anything. That's the reason I opted to get a little greenhouse. But then I never could keep it heated. Well, I bought a little heater this time, and it keeps it pretty warm in there. So, I'll be able to start maybe some seeds in the greenhouse in December or maybe January next year, this coming year. So, I can get a jump on starting some of my plants. Oh, Strawberry Festival, that sounds good. They always have an azalea festival in North Carolina, and I think a blueberry festival. I don't know that they've ever had a strawberry, but they grow a bunch of strawberries around there. There's a lot of farmers that have strawberry patches. That's one thing about those little raised beds. I can put shade cloth over them real easy, because I don't have to get up way tall with it. It's just covering the individual raised bed, especially the ones with the frames on over them. Because I've got the plastic to put over them that makes it into like a little greenhouse if I need to. But I didn't get them out there and ready in time to try to start seeds in them this year, or I could have done that. Put that plastic cover on it. But maybe this coming year I'll do it in the colder weather. Catfish Festival. I've never heard of a place that had a catfish festival. But in Crescent City they have one, huh? Your parents lived in Winter Haven. I don't know where that's at. Lucky and Buddy's doing great. They've been hanging around with me outside in the yard, following me everywhere. When I sit down to rest, they're at my feet laying down, taking it easy. They fry the catfish whole, about 10 inches long. Well, see, that's what I'm used to in North Carolina. I'm not used to people filleting fish because we didn't usually catch them that big that you'd want to fillet them. We'd get a pretty good sized catfish or a pretty good sized whatever other kind of fish we'd catch. And most of the time we'd cut the heads off. Sometime we'd leave the head on. We'd gut them.